Okay, looking at this question, it says how many centimeters are in 0.75 meters? This number, 0.75, is actually read 75 hundredths. You read the number and then you say the place value of the last digit. So this is read 75 tenths, hundredths is the last digit, so we'd say 75 hundredths. Now, that is in meters. The question wants to know how many centimeters would that be? Okay, now I have written it this way, but really we started out with meters first. So we're going to put, you're going from meters to centimeters. Now I know that meters are part of the metric system. There's several ways that I can figure this answer out, but a shortcut that would help me solve this problem a lot easier is to use a saying that helps me remember the metric system. Does anybody remember the saying that would help me remember the metric system? Very good. King Hector doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Now, what does the K stand for? Kilo. It stands for kilo, which is your prefix. Now, it can mean, in the metric system, it depends on what you're measuring. If you're measuring weight, it would be kilogram. If you're measuring length, it would be kilometer. If you're measuring capacity, it would be kiloliter. So this just tells me what goes in front of these words. What does the H stand for?
Hector.
Hecto. Hecto. So hectogram, hectometer, or hectoliter, depending on what it is I'm measuring. What about the first D? Notice there's two D's here. What does the first D stand for? Deca. D-E-K-A. Deca. And the U. What does the U stand for? Unit. Now, this is not a prefix. This lets us know that if we are here, then it's only going to be this word by itself, gram, or this word by itself, meter, or this word by itself, liter. So if we ever have an abbreviation that has only one letter, we know that it's the unit. Like here, I know this is the prefix and this is the unit. Well, this one doesn't have a prefix, so it has to stand for just meter. It would be the unit. What does the second D stand for? Deci. Very good. D-E-C-I. Deci. What about the C? What does that stand for? Centa. And the last letter is an M. What does that stand for? Milli. Now, be careful because some people think that M stands for meter, but remember your meter is the unit. It's not the M on the end. Now, with your metric system, the first ones are the largest, and as you go down, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So the smallest unit in the metric system is the milli, and the largest is the kilo. Now, I'm going from meter and I'm changing it to centimeters. So where would the meter be on my chart here that I have drawn? Where would the meter be? The U. Meter stands for the unit. So I'm going to look at that U. And where do I find centimeter on the chart? It's the C. Very good. So if I'm changing one number of a measurement to another type of measurement and I'm using the metric system, this only works if you're using the metric system, you're going to write down the number 0.75, And then you're going to look at what direction you move, going from meter to centimeter. Am I going left or right? To the right. I'm moving to the right. And how many times do I have to jump to move from the unit to the centimeter?
2.
2 times. So the shortcut is, all you have to do now is find your decimal, and you're going to move it 2 times to the right, and you're done. So here we go. Here's the decimal. 1, 2. The decimal is no longer going to be written where it was. It's now after the 5. So your answer is 0.75 decimal. Is there another way that I can write 0.75 decimal? I could take the 0 off and write it as 7.5 decimal. Is there another way that I can write 7.5 decimal? Just 75. Any number with a decimal on the end, if there's nothing behind the decimal, could just be written as a whole number. So that means that 75 hundredths of a meter is the same thing as 75 centimeters.